Welcome back, Ace Runners, to Day 2, the back 9 of 2023 U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship, presented by Discraft. This coverage is brought to you by Ace Run Pro, and this is our last PDGA Major of the year. My name is Holly Finley.
And I'm Raven Klein. We brought you the back 9 of Round 2. We are on the regulator course in Burlington, North Carolina. And so far, I feel like it's going pretty well for our card. Seen some good birdies, seen some money C2 putts. Checking in on our leaderboard, Rebecca Cox coming out and leading the tournament currently. Evelina, Jessica Weese, and Kristen all following suit, and Silva. And I love seeing leaderboards this close.
Here we are, hole 10, par 5, 632 feet. You do have the out of bounds area on the left at the creek's edge. Your drive off the tee needs to be conservative. You have a very small landing zone. Hopefully landing here, a little bit better would be here. That'll give you about 250 to 300 feet into the green, which will give you an eagle look. If you're not feeling that aggressive, you can simply go putter, 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 and still get yourself a birdie opportunity. Sarah Hokom up first with a watermelon off the tee. Hits that fuzzy tree and drops down early at the bottom of the path.
Ooh, Silva with a nasty kick to the left. What?
You must have held up the wrong flag. How could that be in bounds?
I mean, unless it caught more stuff that we didn't see, which is possible.
Weese's forehand drops down early. Not sure she made it to the flats yet.
There we go. Valerie with a straight nose down into the fairway. She's a little bit on the right side, but in the best position. Weese in a tough spot. Roll down. Gets to the base of the hill.
Weese could still save par from there. Hokom gets some good distance on her second shot. She's on the right side.
We did have the... Is that where she landed?
There's no way that could be where she landed.
I feel like that was an OB.
I saw a flag there, so I feel like
Okay.
that was the OB flag. Silva's second shot has put her in the middle of the fairway.
Put that there.
That rock just wants to be friends.
Weese's third shot.
That forehand knife angle hurts my shoulder to watch it.
I've been working on it, and it's a hard shot.
It is, yeah. Weese ends up on the right side. Hokom with the forehand also skips onto the right side again, so they'll have similar shots.
And we finally made it to Valerie's drive.
She turns it over, is hugging the right side, but gets a friendly kick from the tree, and she's back out on the fairway in good position.
This is Silva's fourth shot. She needs to get it up to the gap, give herself a par putt. And looks like a putt for her.
Oh, definitely. I would say she was tracking toward the basket and then just caught that last group of trees.
Weese back to a knee. It's still a putt. Would have really liked to get on top of the hill, though. Hokom hitting that same set of trees that Jess did. Oh, yes.
I had to work really hard for that to sit. I gave it everything I had.
It worked.
It's so penalizing.
Hokom said it right. Just 1 centimeter of a mistake here can just put you in an awful position. and just give you really poor results.
She pitches up just inside the bullseye. Oh, I thought she had that. Silva giving it a really nice run from this bottom edge of the hill. Weese also giving it a lofty bid, and she nestles up under the koozie.
Silva in for a 6 here on hole 10. Valerie makes good for the birdie.
Hokom in for the bogey. And Weese will tap in the bogey as well here on the 10th. Hole 11, par 4, 531 feet. Off the tee, this left side of trees is OB up until the corner point right before the wood chips. We also have an OB section on the right side, but they both have very pointed corners, and once you get into the wood chip area of the fairway, you are safe. Throwing a backhand turnover or forehand that puts you at the mouth of the gap is your best option, and then an easy pitch up here for a birdie.
Valerie up first. A bit of a low, controlled turnover angle, and she lands short in the middle of the fairway.
Hokom's forehand pushing the left side a little bit more. Also throws it low, but she's in good position.
Silva with a more aggressive turnover angle.
So saying leaking toward that right OB.
And she looks to be...
Looks safe to me.
I don't know. I
It's
need
just
an
that
aerial.
string, yeah.
I need an aerial view.
I heard a clap. Someone clapped. So maybe.
People often clap just to be supportive.
That's true.
We could throw straight into the water and they clap for it. Oh, Jessica Weese out of bounds,
She
left side.
got the tree kick,
Yeah.
but the fairway said no.
And that guy, that spotter there on the left, had a bag of snacks. It said Snack Central. And I went over to get some, and when I grabbed some, he said, "I expect your vote." I don't know what he's running for, but I still took the Skittles, so I'm sorry, sir. I can't vote for you because I don't know what you're running for, but I did take the candy.
Weese's shot really comes up fast, and she skips to the right side, but she's just outside the circle. Valerie's shot was safe and up the fairway.
Hokom, ideal upshot in the bullseye. Drop in birdie for her.
Silva was safe.
Barely.
Barely. She's the third person who I've seen just cross over that OB corner and be safe. Going with the floaty backhand. She's just outside this. No. Yeah. Outside the circle.
She knew out of her hand that wasn't going in. This is a par 4.
Yeah.
Weese looking to save par. What a great putt.
Beautiful. Nice and smooth. Holds the follow through.
Hokom in for an easy birdie. Puts her at 1 under for the round so far, as well as Jessica Weese.
Silva in for the par. And Valerie in for the par as well.
Welcome back, hole 12, par 3, 301 feet. The basket is straight ahead. You don't have a lot of out of bounds to really worry about here. You just want to try to get it as close as possible and get a drop in too. If you land short of the basket, you're going to be putting at a downhill angle with kind of an extreme drop off behind the basket. I prefer to land to the left or right side, sort of tucked up against the trees. That way you're putting away from that cliff's edge. Sarah Hokom up first. Forehand off the tee.
Running it?
Coming in nicely, but she does go long down the hill behind the basket. But still, she has a birdie putt. Mandujano makes sure to start the disc on the left side, follows the fairway, and she has parked the hole.
That is a beautiful shot. Such control and trust with the disc. Wind must have swirled a little bit right before Silva was about to throw. Looks like she made the right choice, coming in fast and low. She does catch one of the little trees at the edge of the circle. But like Holly mentioned, putting from that angle is not as scary.
Weese with a forehand off the tee. The wind gets a hold of it. See if she can get up there.
Ooh.
And that's going to be a sketchy birdie putt. 40 feet downhill.
Oh, that was
She has
nice
a forgiving pace, so she might still be right by the basket.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there she is.
Silva for birdie, and she knew out of her hand that wasn't going in.
Gave it the height, but just released left. The tree might have gotten her head a little bit, or it was just a misfire.
Here's Hokom's birdie bid. Tried to give it a little smoothie throw in. No connection for her.
Silva makes good on her par putt. Valerie for birdie. Easy does it.
Valerie currently sitting at 2 over for the round after that birdie. Weese and Hokom dropping in pars.
Hole 13, par 4, 583 feet. Off the tee, you are just looking for a placement shot. There are two main gaps in this tree line near the water that make it easier to approach. After you've done that, if you're in bad position, you might have to just pitch up another couple feet to be in the right position, because there is no drop zone. If you don't clear the water, you don't clear the water. Your second shot, or possibly third shot, you want to try and get as high up this hill as possible. But a lot of players I see from like halfway down, just because the high branches can get really catchy and stop the aggressive shot.
You don't need anything full power off the tee. You're just looking for a very particular placement. So Valerie opts for a standstill chip hyzer, as does Sarah Hokom. And I prefer to land on the grass short. I find every time I tried to push into the mulch, it just wasn't the best flat footing. There was a tree in the way. So about what Silva's done is what I prefer.
You like the right gap?
No, I mean, as far as like
distance?
The distance goes.
I agree. I play similar distance. I like to be short but left by that stick in the ground.
That stick is the ideal visual.
Where Weese landed is what I'm aiming for.
And this shot is very skilled. What a shot from Silva.
That was beautiful.
It was.
Valerie kind of in between the two gaps, so having to trust that turnover shot, but executes it very nicely.
Jessica Weese lined up perfectly for that birdie bid. And I find a lot of shots are just landing right at that downed log, which is still a putt.
Yes.
but I'm just not getting that scoot up to the bullseye.
Mm-hmm.
You can see Hokom went to the mulch. Doesn't really give her a run up, but she has the standstill power to get over and play the hole for par.
Now Hokom just has a 60-ish foot bid up into the circle.
Sarah has all these cool pants colors, and I was like, where do you keep finding all these pants that are long enough? Because as a tall girl, it's impossible to find. And she said they're scrubs.
Oh, I believe that. That's so smart. There's so many colors of scrubs.
Yep. So Valerie pitches up her shot, as does Jessica.
I always wonder that when I see people who have like fun color shorts. Silva pitches up underneath the basket after that great second drive.
Hokom in for par.
I don't know what it is, but it looks like his...
Weese in for par. Silva in for the drop-in par as well. And Valerie tapping in her par.
This was the fourth most difficult hole today, with half the field taking par, but there were 4 birdies on it.
Only
Kristen
4?
Tatar, Owen Scoggins, Heidi Leine, and Crystal Flores. I know, only 4.
Hole 14, par 4, 547 feet. Your tee shot, you're not going to be able to see the basket. You're just looking for distance and placement. So max distance off the tee, but not too much. You don't want to turn over and go near that fence, which is out of bounds. If you get over that mound in the middle of the fairway, you're a pretty far thrower. You should have about 300 feet to 240 feet for your second shot, which will set you up for the birdie 3. Step 1, make it through the gap. Valerie Mandujano up first. She does not complete step 1, but she is inbounds, the top of the hill, right corner. Par is doable from there.
Hokom with a nice flex forehand out of the gap. She doesn't get quite to the top of the hill, but she's in the clearing.
Silva punches through the gap with good distance. Looks like she's on top of the mound.
Weese with a great shot. She is near the top of the mound, and she should be able to see the basket. Was that step 2?
And Valerie didn't really have a good angle to attack. Hopefully from there she can get up to the green and give herself a par putt.
Ooh.
That looks to be turning over more than intended.
This
You know
is
what?
one of the open holes that
Yeah.
we see, and so more wind to contend with, like hole 1, but really not in a terrible spot.
Valerie will have an 80-footer for par. It's not out of her range.
Hokom doesn't quite turn that enough, so she also ends up on
Did
the
she say
right
go
side.
in?
She did.
She's so funny. Hokom has about a 70-footer for her birdie look.
We swinging it wide, perfect shot, just outside the bullseye.
I like Jessica's pants too. They kind of look
They remind me of Deadpool.
a little industrial. Like you could just get on a knee and take a shot. It's like you don't care about ripping the knees out, you know?
I suppose, yeah. Silva with a great shot. I just wouldn't have used the word industrial, but you're, like, correct.
It's kind of like a fancier version of a Carhartt pant.
See, I feel like Carhartt pants would stand up better, though, to the industrialness.
Well, they would.
You Everyone pitching up underneath the basket. Valerie getting par. Jessica Weese makes the putt, and it stays in for birdie.
In this type of gusty wind, a shorty feels good.
Ooh. Silva also catching high in the chains.
That one must have made her smirk.
I know that happens if you're lined up, you're ready to make your putt, and it comes out high, and you're just like, well, I'm just glad that stayed.
Right.
Because that was unintentional. Valerie in for the bogey, and Hokom in for the par.
Silva, Sarah, and Jessica currently under par for the round.
At Discraft, we don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
When does board game Weese?
Hole 15, par 3, 333 feet. You don't have to worry about hitting your gap until over halfway down the fairway. So if you have something with a late turn, that's going to be ideal for this hole. Punch through the gap. If you want to just go straight, you can still have a look at a longer birdie putt, and just don't come in too fast. We've got these wood chips surrounding the entire green.
Silva up first. It's a low shot, but it's moving right to the gap. She's landed a bit shy of the circle, but she might have a long Annie putt at it. Weese with a forehand off the tee, but she's moving to that right corner a little too early. She cuts through. She's given herself a 50-foot birdie putt.
Hokom flecking.
That thing is flecking.
That thing is flecking.
Flecking awesome.
Something through the gap. And she just ends up on the left side.
Valerie's backhand also moving to that corner. Oh, she
sneak
misses
through.
the tree. And she parks it. Valerie Mandujano.
Oh, fancy.
In the bullseye. Silva's got a 67-foot putt. She gives it an Annie bid, drop in par.
Weese from circle 2 on the right side. Floats something up into the bullseye.
Oh my God.
Hokom with the full send.
Hokom committing her body, just falling out for the layup. I love the commitment. Haven't seen anyone fall like that since Ellen Woodboom. That was like her thing for a while. I feel like she was falling on every upshot. We were playing with Elaine King once, and Elaine was like, "Listen, Ellen, you don't have to be so dramatic. You don't need to fall on every shot." I haven't perfected the falling putt or upshot yet. Have you tried it?
So I haven't perfected it. I've tried it. I send it so far past the basket, though.
It's a tough one. Mandujano is in for birdie, Silva in for par, Sarah in for par, and Weese in for par.
Yeah, I've made 2 successful, like, full send falling putts. They feel pretty good.
Let's check out hole 16, another par 5, 887 feet off the tee. I prefer to land a little short of this section right about here. The second shot will bust through that little set of trees. Max distance if you can. That will set your third shot up with about 300 to 240 into this elevated basket. If you don't get close enough on this basket, we all know how that goes. You're probably just going to lay it up for par.
You won't do it.
You won't do it. You're scared. Mandujano up first. A nice controlled hyzer off the tee, and she set herself up in prime position.
So I like being left of
Me
the gap
too.
and short. Even though the right gap is a little bit bigger, especially with the wind, the execution of that shot is just a little bit harder. So I like being left side and allowing for that full hyzer on the second. Silva with a good shot. Jessica Weese releases this really high, but gets through all the branches
Wow.
into the perfect spot. So that is a moment to capitalize on.
Hokom moves her disc over to the right side gap.
She gets the full flight out of it, but it was just too low.
I said right side gap. It was the left
Ooh.
side. And Hokom hits that center set of trees you're really looking to miss on your second shot.
Where Valerie is about as far back as I'd want to be.
I agree.
It's amazing how small the gap looks, even if you're only 15 feet further back.
Valerie makes it through the gap on her second shot, but doesn't get a lot of distance. I'm not sure that's going to be birdieable from that range.
Weese in a very good position. Gets a full rip on her second shot, putting her in a nice location to approach for the birdie look. Silva just opting for a standstill. I know when we played the hole, there was a bit of a swirly headwind, so a lot of these shots that you thought were going to hyzer pulled toward the right side, just like Silva's did.
I actually disced up to a more overstable disc for that particular shot, and it almost still pulled into the woods.
Yeah.
Hokom has a good distance on her next shot. Now, this is Valerie's third shot. It looks really far. I'm going to go for probably 375 into the green.
And now I actually really like the way that she plays this, aiming for those trees on the right and hoping for probably a little bit more skip than that to go toward the basket and try and be pin high, have that even putt.
Valerie's shot ended up at the circle's edge with a downhill look at an elevated basket. Valerie's a brave putter, so we'll see if she goes for it. And Silva's also landed a bit short with a downhill look.
I feel like she also doesn't have a lot of fear with putting.
I know, I'm enjoying watching her.
Hokom with a beautiful approach, and she is inside the bullseye.
In practice, I found this upshot to be very deceiving. I kept thinking I was parking it, I'd walk up and I'd be just like
25
this.
feet
Yes.
short. Yeah, so I keep sending it a little farther than I think I
Yes.
have to.
I make sure to look at those bushes and trees on the right side. You can see Silva contemplating.
A little bit further back than I thought she was.
Is it worth it or not? And she decides it is not. Jessica Weese looks like she's laying it up as well. Mandujano.
Do it. Yes.
Great putt. Valerie making good for the birdie. Very courageous putt. I might or might not have known that walk was going in because you can see me walking by.
Did you sashay a little bit more? Did you?
It's a really good putt. Hokom in for par.
Silva kept it stress-free and made it an easy par, as did Weese. So Valerie picking up the only birdie on the card here on the 16th, bringing herself back down. Hole 17, par 3, 328 feet. This is an island, but it is like 3 times bigger than any island we've played so far this year. Pretty much get across the water and don't leak too far left and you will probably be safe. This one is a, dealer's choice, whatever you feel the most comfortable with. Holly said it yesterday. We've seen everything from a putter to a 12-speed driver coming into this hole. Lots of ace runs, and I'm excited to see how everyone plays it.
The OB can sneak up on you quick, though, especially if you hyzer just a little on the left. You think you've parked it, and then up comes the red flag. Mandujano up first. It's low, but it is safe on the hillside.
This is a beautiful shot from Silva. Just gonna scoot up.
Just gonna scoot in here real quick.
Excuse me, just gonna scoot in here. Looks like she went with a mid.
Hitting the main gap.
Just floating to the right side of that center tree. Beautiful shot. Either that straight shot or a hyzer that goes around the big tree where the spotter is are the two most successful lines that I've seen so far.
If I was a spotter this weekend, I would choose this hole behind that tree.
Yeah.
Weese up
Miss
third.
it, miss it, miss it. Oh my gosh.
Weese with an ace run. Yeah, Flight Factory run back.
Another one. That was so pretty. You can hear her telling it just to miss that tree. Wow. Beautiful shot. And you can actually see how fast the OB comes into play when you give it an ace run.
Hokom forehand off the tee.
Get on top of the hill. Ooh, just at the crest. So her footing will be a little funky, but she's just outside the circle.
Valerie jump putts to the bullseye. Raven said it. Funky, funky. This is one of those times where you give that like 4 goes and you're like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to throw.
Yeah, sometimes I'll like karate chop with my foot just to make a little divot. And then this is usually one where I fall. Falling putt. Yeah.
But outside the circle, so it's
Outside
not
the circle.
actually a falling putt.
No, not in that sense of the term, falling putt.
Hokom pitches up. She'll play for par. Weese for birdie. It's in.
Right side. Good catch.
And with that putt, that moves Jessica Weese to 3 under for the round today.
It's Mandujano for par. Good putt.
Valerie has displayed some very impressive putting on today's round.
And Silva in for the tap-in birdie.
And Hokom in for par. Silva, Sarah, and Jessica currently under par, and Valerie at 1 over. Hole 18, par 4, 526 feet. We do have this ravine, which is marked as a mandatory relief area. It's not out of bounds, you just don't want to land in it. Your drive should land about here. If you can scoot a little more left to about right here, that would be premium. Your second shot, be smart. You can go around the fairway or you can try to cut through that corner and sneak up there. Don't recommend it, but it is an option. If you have 2 perfect shots, you can have a look at a birdie 3. Silva up first. Shot was moving to left right out of the hand, and it looks like she has kicked early on the short side of the creek.
Weese with the perfect shot.
That's exactly what I'm and you're looking for.
Yeah, I think everyone would be happy with that drive on 18. Valerie playing it a little bit straighter, but perfectly fine. Being across this bridge, like you said in other holes, number 1, that is your first job.
Hokom hits the gap.
Also playing it more straight.
Is that Max Krotz?
I don't know if I know Max.
He's a TD from one of the southern A tiers.
Okay. Silva does make it across the creek, but she is near the OB fence and in kind of a difficult position to move all the way right.
Yeah, she kind of had to do the little T-Rex throw. More of a wrist snap than a full follow through.
She catches another tree, though, and looks like she's in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, she might have to play for bogey. This is Hokom's second shot, taking that main fairway, and that's perfect. You can jump putt up from there, try to get a birdie, or just lay up for par.
When you first look at the positioning for this second shot, it can look like there's not a lot of space because of the branches on the left side, but there's actually quite a bit of airspace.
There is.
And so a higher forehand, or an inside line forehand, that's like the one you mentioned. She didn't quite take that line, but yeah, the airspace allows you to really get into the green.
Oh, Silva gets caught up for her Annie bid, and she's actually in a really good spot right now. Hopefully she can get just right up under the basket from here.
Or throw it in.
I don't know why she made that. She made some weird look with her face, like right before she did that upshot. I wonder what that was about.
Not sure. I feel like this whole round, we haven't really seen her misfire, and it's all been hole 18. Just a little bit to the right, a little bit to the right, a little off.
Weese's upshot was just a tad long, but still very puttable.
Sarah's disc did roll back behind this tree after it landed, so it's making a slightly tougher approach angle, but well executed, and she will be at the edge of the bullseye. Valerie pitching it up under the basket.
Silva's got a putt with a couple of trees in the way, but no big deal.
Beautiful.
She'll make good for a 6 here on the 18th. Moves her to even for the round. Sigh of relief from Silva.
Weese leaves her putt short and catches the cage, but luckily does sit under the basket.
Hokom in for par. Puts her at 1 under for the round.
This was the second most difficult hole today for our FPO field. And there were 2 birdies.
Out of 90 women, only 2 birdies here.
Yes. Owen Scoggins and Allie Smith.
Wow. Valerie in for par, and Jessica Weese will accept a bogey here on the 18th.
That is going to wrap up our day 2 coverage. Let's see. Sarah and Weese under par. Silva, unfortunately, after hole 18, does bring her back up to even, but she's still sitting okay. Checking in on the leaderboard, Henna Blomroos with a 9 down total. That is wonderful. Kristen making her moves as she does. And let's see, Rebecca, Evelina, well done. Jessica Weese, Owen, Sarah, all in good position. And with this course, anything can happen.
Yeah, all it takes is a couple misfires or 1 bad hole, and then the next person's in the lead.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys tuning in to this day 2 coverage of the U.S.W.D.G.C. My name's Holly Finley, and if you'd like to support me, you can get one of my Star Color Glow It's a Speed 7 fairway at your favorite online disc golf retailer.
And if you'd like to support me, you can find my Tour Series Convicts at the Dynamic Disc website, or you can support Holly and I both by going to the Another Round website and getting one of our logos stamped on the bottom of your disc. Thank you guys so much, and we can't wait to see you for round 3.
All right! God. All right!